Tonight, I'm about ready to turn it over to Barbara Talent and Tina Schneider as we welcome in Letia Cooper and Jill Brown to talk about STEM. Barbara, Tina?
Thanks, Dean. Well, unfortunately, Tina has a terrible cold and won't be talking, but you can catch up with her in the chat window, and she will be moderating the chat window too, so she will be there. So we're really excited tonight because we have a great STEM webinar, and we have both Letia Cooper and Jill Brown. And I first saw Letia's binders on the LiveBinders site, and I was just so impressed with the resources that she had put together. And it's not just on STEM. She's put together some amazing resources. So I would like to start with Letia and just have her introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I am Letia Cooper. I am an instructional technology specialist in Beaufort County, South Carolina. And I love LiveBinders, of course. They've been a great inspiration to me, and I introduce all the teachers I work with to it. This is my 10th year in education. I started off as a history teacher, and now I teach instructional technology at 3 schools in the district, high school, K through 12.
Great. Thank you, Letia. And we also have Jill Brown with us. Oh, and Jill, can you want to take just a minute to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Jill Brown. I also live in Beaufort County. I teach in the Beaufort County School District. I teach at the Ames Academy. It's a magnet school for gifted children, and I teach the math and science. And I've been teaching for 19 years, and I just love LiveBinder. I used it a lot last year, and I plan on using it again. So, you know, I'm excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Thanks so much, Jill. We had Jill on a previous show, and it was so much fun to listen to what she was doing in her classroom. So we're very excited to have her on to talk some more about that. So I think we'll start with Letia and have her kind of go through her STEM resources binder.
Okay.
Are you ready to do that?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay. So I just click this link, right? Okay. Do I just need to share my screen, Barbara? Or?
Yes, so you should be clicking on that second icon up there, the application sharing,
okay.
I think.
There we go. Okay.
There you go. We're starting to see a screen.
There we go. And I'm just going to get rid of some of these things on my toolbar.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to presentation mode. And I created this STEM binder for our Summer Institute in Beaufort County School District last summer. We were focusing on enhancing STEM in the classroom, and I wanted to find websites and web tools that teachers could use. So I decided to look for a variety of STEM resources. On the first tab, you'll see this tab contains websites that are all about STEM. They're the STEM Coalition, which features different STEM projects and different blogs about STEM, different resources about STEM. There are also the National STEM Video Game Challenge resources. A lot of these websites have grants that you can apply for STEM in your school. And then there's the Department of Energy for Educators, which focuses on science education in the classroom. And let me know if I'm going too fast. There's also the Siemens STEM Academy. And I just wanted a resource where, to create a resource where teachers could find everything in one place. They wouldn't have to go out and search for those great STEM resources. There's also the main Pathways to STEM, which is a really great site. It has all types of programs and initiatives that teachers in Maine have started with STEM. There's also Change the Equation, which I think really talks about why we need STEM, and it's really alarming if you look on the right side right here, where it says that 30% of our high school students are not ready for, only 30% are ready for college-level science. So it's important that we focus on getting students to take more science courses and become, and so that they'll be ready for college-level sciences and mathematics courses, and that there are 17 nations that actually outperform us in the world in science and math, and I think that's something we need to improve on. In the first tab, I want to switch to the Science tab, and you will hear a quickie come on. This is a web tool that I've encouraged science teachers to use at the beginning of their class. Students can actually type in any term, and that term will appear as a video. And that could be anything from color to milk, the word milk, and it will pop up. So this is something that teachers can use in their classroom on a daily basis, and it has any types of terms. Am I going too fast? Is everything okay?
Yeah, you can go just a little slower. The screen refresh takes a little while, so if you can slow down just a little bit, I think that would help. But this is just an amazing resource. This is so much fun.
Okay, thank you. The tab that you should see right now is called Cell Games, and these are just things like bacteria cell, plant cell, and animal cells in the Shepherd software, and these are more for elementary students, but that's when we need to start using STEM with them and really introducing them to the sciences. I know that sometimes our teachers, they have a hard time fitting science into the day, but it's a very important part of that, is to introduce them in the K through 5 years. The next tab I want to show you is the Biodigital Human, and this will take a little bit of time to load, but I love this because it actually shows the skeleton of the body, and you can actually click on different systems in the body to show the digestive system and the urinary system, and even click on that part of the body to show that. And also, this is available in the App Store as an Android app, I believe, and as an iPad app. So if your school has tablets, this is a great application that you could put onto there, and it's also free. And I'll just show you, if I click on digestive system, the digestive system will come up, and then I could click on the esophagus. And if I click the microphone, it will actually say esophagus, but here's a follow-up on what the esophagus is about. You can also click on the liver, and it will zoom into the liver, and it will tell you things about the liver. It will also give you common conditions involving that organ. And this is just a really nice website if we're teaching about the body. You can change from male to female. You can also look at different conditions. You can search by conditions or things you've bookmarked. And there's lots to explore on this site. The next site I want to show you is something called Teachers Domain Science, which is really nice. It has tons of websites for science, technology, engineering, and math. And I'm just going to click on the Engineering tab. And under Engineering, you'll see under Engineering and Design, there's 259 artifacts. And if you scroll down, then you'll see Applying the Design Process, or the History and Impact of Technology. But you can also go to What is Engineering with 19 resources. And I love Teachers Domain because you can search by grade level, all the way from pre-K to post-secondary. and then you can search by media type. So here you'll see that there's 7 videos involving what is engineering. There are 8 interactives that you can choose from. There's 1 lesson plan and 2 images, and all of these are available to you. They're free of charge. You will need to sign up in order to download the videos. You can download. Yes.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Letia. We had a couple questions in the chat menu as to whether these resources that you're showing are free or not.
Oh yes, almost every resource I have is free. I don't like for teachers to pay for anything. My slogan is, if it's not free, it's not for me. So everything
yes,
is
you
here.
put together that wonderful binder that says that.
I don't. Teachers already spend so much of their money on classroom materials that I don't want them to spend even more money, on websites and things like that. I want them to find free things, and there's always more than one out there, so just searching for the ones that will fit their classroom needs is the most important. So almost everything is free. If it's not totally free, the website, there's parts of that website that are free that you can use. Any more questions about that? Okay. I can go on now?
Yeah, go on, please.
Okay. So this is a great website, Teacher's Domain, and it is free. The next one I want to show you is called Stop Disasters. In South Carolina, we're always during the summer getting used to having hurricanes. It's always hurricane season. And this interactive right here is something that I showed last summer, and a person who was in my class, he works for FEMA in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and he was going to use this with his volunteers because it was such a great game to play with them. And this game actually will take you through different types of disasters: earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, and students actually have to design a way to go through design a map that will make it the best way to fight off the hurricane or the disaster. So I'm just going to click on one of these and see if it will work. Let's hit play game in the right corner. And I think this is a great exercise for students. It really challenges them. They're given a budget, and students actually have to spend $50,000. But if they don't spend it the right way, they can actually cause more people to die. They can actually cause more destruction than they had. So they really have to think on this game. And I'm just going to click play game. This would be a great one for you to go through. Here's a tsunami, wildfires, and then hurricane. This is the one I almost always play with. And they come in 3 maps. An easy map, which is very small, so students can start off with that, and then to a hard, larger map where it covers more area. I'm going to start off with the small map. Okay, and this is a Caribbean town, and they have 180 people that you have to save. And we have to find accommodations for 330 people, build a hospital and a school. And I must anchor the boats in the port to prepare them for strong winds. And so it's all about protecting people, and they're given a budget. This would be great for an economics teacher or any math teacher to use and kind of connect science and math and even social studies together. And they are actually timed with 25 minutes. And so when I click on any part of this, I'm going to get defenses. I can put up defenses so that if a hurricane is coming in, I can spend $100 to plant trees here. But those are unsuitable. So it's telling me these trees are unsuitable for this terrain. So I would have to go over here and maybe choose something else. Maybe sand dunes are more. And they're telling me sand dunes can only be built on sand. I'm not doing very good at this game right now. Okay, so let me try and find something that does fit right there. I'll try to do some mangoes. I can use mangoes here. I don't know if I'm going to use it. Okay, let me try something different. I apologize. Okay, so when I build a tree here, it's telling me I spent $145. And you can't see this on my screen, but at the very bottom it does have, at the very bottom of the screen it tells you how much money you're spending and how much money you have left. And so I can also find out information about this area, and it's going to tell me this is the ocean, it's very expensive to build things here. And this is just a great planning game, and I actually can develop things if I wanted to in the ocean. Of course, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't place a hospital there. But this is a great game that kids would really like, I think. Okay. The next site I'm going to show you is called CSI The Experience. I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. If you're a lover of the show CSI like I am, this is a website that students will also love. It actually takes them through becoming a forensic expert. And of course you have Gil Grissom and all of the cast of CSI. And they can go through the web adventures, which is what I use with the students. And they can go through, and here's an educational web adventure, and they're going to learn how to apply forensic science. Okay. There it is. And they're given 3 different cases. There's rookie training, which all students will need to go through first. And you can look at the different game features and things like that. And now you'll see Gil Grissom talking to you and welcoming you as a trainee. And it asks you, what would you like to begin as? Forensic biology? And you'll check that off. And again, this is interactive, and I think students really enjoy interactive websites. They're very nice for students. They get them excited about everything. So I just wanted to show you this because I think if your students are really, if they've seen that on television, it will really bridge the gap between school and home and get them excited about this type of science. The next one is called Interactive Annenberg. That website to load. And Interactive Annenberg has dozens of math interactives, science interactives, language interactives, and history interactives. So just focusing on the science. We even have one called Amusement Park Physics, which tells you for grades 9 through 12. And it'll actually take them through an amusement park and through the physics of going through a roller coaster. I'm not going to exactly go through all of that, but this is a great website if you're looking for different types of interactives. I think I just clicked on the wrong thing. And then there's one on DNA, Dynamic Earth, the Ecology Lab, and different math ones also. Another one is Design a Planet, which is really nice for students if you teach space sciences. Students can learn how to, this is from NASA, and students can learn how to design their own planet. It's not opening up at this time, so I can click on the website and go to that. Looks like it's having a hard time connecting, so I'm going to skip that top presentation.
Letia,
okay,
sorry to interrupt you, but in the chat window they're just asking you to slow down just a little, so that way they can kind of see the sites you're getting to.
Okay. I always talk too fast. Okay, let me see if I can. All right, I hope everyone can see Kim Ed DL. This is a nice site. It actually has a live periodic table. Okay, and I'm going to click on that periodic table so that it can go live. All right, and here's a periodic table. It's really nice when you click on any of these to retrieve an element. It's going to give you the element, a picture of that element, the description, the physical, atomic, and media. And I like this because when you click on media, let's see, change. It doesn't seem to be changing for me today. Okay, that doesn't seem to be working, but when you click on media, you should get various interactive links and videos for that atom. And that's a nice periodic table, but they also have other things. They have models, cell models. They have Chem Prime. Okay, and this is the chemistry behind your favorite subject. And it talks about chemistry, and it's just mainly a wiki space that goes into all the different types, like solid, liquids, and gases. Okay. Go back. But they have tons of interactives here. There's the Chem Teacher. There's also Chem Ed courses through Moodle. And hopefully if you teach chemistry, this is something that you would be interested in using. Okay, so we can go back in the binder. Also, there's PhET Interactive, which is a really nice site. It has interactive simulations. I'll kind of slow down so everyone can catch up. It has various interactive science simulations. You can browse the activities under for teachers. And they have a lot of different simulations. There's acid-based solutions, arithmetic, balancing acts, which I know a lot of teachers use balance, teaching kids balance. There's also, you can get it in various languages. You can search for a lab on it. And you can also search by grade level. There's K through 5, middle school, high school, and also university courses. And here, once you hit the Browse button, underneath it you will see Balancing Act Inquiry, and then there's a Balancing Act Lab. And then here's the simulation.
And Tia, this is free too?
Yes, this is free. And it's downloadable. You can download it and save it to your computer. So if you don't have an internet connection or your school is blocking this site, you can download it at home and you'll have it to play on your interactive whiteboard. And most of these I use with the interactive whiteboard. I have that in mind when I'm thinking about all of these sites. Would they be good on your smart board or your Promethean board? So you can download it and save it, or you can click Run Now. And you can also embed it. This would be a great thing to embed on your school web page. That way you could maybe put questions with it, and you could have it as a homework assignment, as a quiz if you already studied that. And so I'm just going to open the file. And it may take a minute to open. There's also teaching resources that go along with this. And here's your balancing act. Okay. And you can remove the supports once you've balanced it. Oh, there we go. And also there's rulers to show on here and meters. Forces from objects. And level. And I think that's really neat.
I don't think we're seeing anything right now.
Oh, you all don't see it? Yeah. Okay, it may not show it. I'm going to click out of it. But this is a great website.
Yeah, not everything shows up in Illuminate.
Okay. But this is a great resource. If you ever get the chance, there's things under each, on the side under simulations. You can just look up by simulation. And as I said, they're downloadable, so you can have them forever. I think this is a great way to build your library. And again, you can put it in your LiveBinders so that when you get to that chapter, you'll have it with you. The next thing I do want to show you, these are some other great science sites, but I'm going to move on to technology. And in the technology binder, the first site I have is called ck12.org. If you haven't seen this site, it's wonderful. You can build your own textbook, and you can make it downloadable for the iPad, Android, or Kindle. So I think this is a great site. And it's also a CK12 app for the iPad. And I love this because you can create your own books. They have YouTube videos embedded in them already. So I'm just going to click on Math Grade 7, the Student Edition. All right, and this allows you to, they call them Flexbooks, and inside the Flexbooks you will see the different chapters. When you're logged into ck12.org, and it's free again, you can actually look at using decimals and pull it over to the right, and it will actually create your chapters here. And you can even name your Flexbook. You can print the Flexbook out and have it bound at your school for your students. But you just drag and drop the chapters that you want. You don't have to put all the chapters in, so you're really creating your own book. If you want to look inside, you can view the chapter, and it's going to show you what's in the chapter. And you all have to let me know if you're seeing what I'm seeing here. Can you see this?
Yes, we can see it. It scrolls slowly, but we can see it.
Okay. And the great thing about this is that you can view it in this form. You can view it in PDF form. If you use the Flexbook feature that it has, it will open on your interactive whiteboard, and you can actually flip it. It'll be like a flip book. Or you can actually show it in HTML version, and it will have YouTube videos embedded in it. So if your school district does allow you to show YouTube videos like our school district does, the videos are already there. So if it's talking about ratio and there's a video on ratio, you can play it right from there. You don't have to go and look it up. And this is something that you can actually create for yourself. They even have workbooks that you can create using the things that they have. So there's our decimal book. You can name the book and save it and embed it, give it to your students, send them a link to it. It's just a great feature. And I'm going to go back to the home screen now. And this is something I would definitely say you need to check out. There's a video on the side. They have everything for STEM here. I mean, this is a great, just even as a teacher, for you to use as an extra resource, from algebra, geometry, probability, and statistics. I've had teachers who struggle with that, and they've used CK12 to help them. There's student editions and teacher editions located in here. There's nanotechnology and engineering, physics, everything that you could want. If you click on iPad, the download for iPad at the top, these are books that you can go ahead and download into iBooks. It's also available, like I said, as an Android, the Sony Reader, and you can also get it through Nook. So this is a great resource.
How did you find all these things, Letia?
I found all these things because I have all the time in the world. I'm not married and I don't have any kids.
Oh my gosh, it's just such an amazing resource.
But really, I absolutely love what I do. I love this, and I've never been happier. Even though I taught in middle school for a number of years, this is my 4th year doing instructional technology, and I've never been happier as a teacher with teaching other teachers on how to find things. And I just tell my teachers, if you're looking for something, let me know. Email me, and I'll find it for you. And that's how I find a lot of stuff, because I'm looking for them. I'm trying to meet their needs. So sometimes I come along with these different things, and I always have myself as the teacher in mind. What would I want my students to see? And that's how I find these resources. If it's not something that I would use as a teacher, I probably don't put it in here. So, but the next thing I want to show you, if you haven't found out about it, is called Poll Everywhere. You can use this with your students. It's like having a clicker system, but if they have a mobile device of any kind, you can use Poll Everywhere, or if they have netbooks or laptop cart, or if you're in the computer lab, you can use Poll Everywhere for instant feedback. And of course, this is free. It does have a paid-for portion, but you don't need that. It does have multiple choice in here and short answer. They can text their answers in. This is a great, you can embed this poll. You can use it in PowerPoint. That's a really good one. So Poll Everywhere is something that I would use. I would only use the free portion, though. I wouldn't use the pay-for portion. If you're looking for a totally free clicker device, the last one in this on the technology tab is called Socrative. This is also available as an iPad app and an Android app. And Socrative is really nice because it has all different types of questions, true and false, short answer, yes and no, multiple choice. And it has a student version and a teacher version for Socrative. And it's a really nice way to use a clicker without having to pay for clickers. And it's on any, like I said, any smartphone, tablet, laptop, desktop. You can use this app to ask students questions and poll them immediately and get their feedback. The next one I'm going to show you. Am I going too fast?
No, that's fine. We do want to give Jill some time too.
Okay,
so
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just want to make sure you get to the highlights, and there's so much here. It's just great.
I'm going to skip through to the end. I'm just going to go through every tab real quick, and I'll be done. So 2 minutes, maybe? Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. The next tab is the engineering tab, and you'll find different things on engineering here. And there's some great websites if you're trying to get your students in engineering, robotics. And I plan to beef this up some more. Under the math tab, you have dozens of math sites that you could use. The latest one I've seen is Algebra and the Real World Movies. So it takes real world movies and places it with algebra. A really good website, but there's dozens of math websites here. And then I've added 2 new tabs, which is Android apps. So if you are looking for apps, you have a tablet or a Nook or anything like that, you can look at getting Android apps. And these are just some of the math ones that I saw that were free, and they were good. The only one that's not free is Wolfram Alpha. And here are iPad apps that I've been testing out. I have an iPad, and you can hook the iPad up to your interactive whiteboard and actually show your apps in that way on your board. So this is a great, if there's an app that you like, your students can have it too just by you using the, by you hooking it up through a connective piece. The last tab is Animal Cams, and it'll just take you to different animals around the world, and it's also a great site. And that's it for my 100+ STEM websites and web tools for teachers. I hope you take time to look at it, and I hope to add more stuff in the future. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
That is such a great, rich resource. We could spend hours on that. Okay, so now I would like to turn it over to Jill.
Tia, that was fantastic. I plan on
Thank you, Jill.
I plan on emailing you and talking more with you. I got some great ideas.
Anytime, you know. It was fate that we met last year.
Yes, it was. You know, I never would have heard of it through my husband.
No.
All right. So I'm an Ames teacher, and I teach at a STEM school, but it's a magnet school within an elementary school at Beaufort. And last year, I was exploring the paperless classroom, and I came across LiveBinders, and I wanted a way to use LiveBinders in a way for my students to use in a project. And so I created, we were doing paper roller coasters. And so, and like I said, the project goal here was to create a student-centered, independent, collaborative classroom so that I wasn't the sage on the stage, but my students were the ones who were learning. And LiveBinder was just the perfect resource for this. And in our engineering cycle, this is how we go through that. We imagine, we plan, we create, and we improve. As you can see, the different pictures here. Imagine is looking at videos, looking at websites, and we had all of those inside the LiveBinder. And they plan it, they create it, and you can see they're looking at their laptops, and that's why they have a video they're watching from inside of LiveBinder, and then improve. And then we had a showcase where they had to showcase all of their roller coasters, which was fun. And here's the LiveBinder that I created called Rock and Roller Coasters. And this year I plan on doing it again, but I'm going to get in there and modify it because this year I have flipped my classroom. And so I want to kind of incorporate the flip concept into this project that we're going to be getting into probably in about 5 weeks. And what I did last year was I created a page more like a just some information like due dates of projects and labs and assignments, trying to move them more into an independent way of thinking, and creating more of a virtual planner so they can keep up and plan what's coming up. Let's see. And then inside of it, I created labs where at school we used the LiveBinder, and they did labs. They went in, they read the directions, they did them in the classroom, out in the hallway. We were sometimes in the library at the school because it was a bigger space, and the whole time they had their laptops open. They were looking in the LiveBinder. They were looking for the instructions and what to do, and I was walking around. I was coaching them. I was asking them questions. And so I wasn't the person who was in front of them, showing them how to do everything. I wanted it to be an environment where they learned and they created and they designed. And it was just a fantastic environment. Let's see. Now, this is one of the videos. When the kids had to make the paper roller coaster parts, they watched the YouTube videos that I found on each of the parts on the paper roller coaster. And so instead of me standing in front of the classroom showing them how to fold paper, which, if anybody's ever had to do that, you know how cumbersome that can be. And so I had them go into the LiveBinder again, and they had to watch the videos. They had to follow the directions from the videos. And then again, I was the person just walking around the room, and it was great. They became problem solvers and collaborators and independent. And here are my students from last year. They worked in groups. They first had to design the roller coaster after doing some research, looking at how roller coasters work, and then as you can see there here at the bottom right here. They're working on graph paper and making designs, and we used scale drawings, and try to integrate math into this project as well. Let's see, and here are my students watching a video on how to make one of the parts of the roller coaster, and working together, trying to figure it out. They would always say, Ms. Brown, how do you do this? I said, let's look at the video. What's the video telling you? Where are you seeing it? Look for the details. And, it was a transition for them to not be so, dependent on me. And it was really great. As you could see in the classroom photos, the class was a mess, but they were all working and putting things together, taping, building, problem solving, And as it says, they worked at their own pace. Some people built those roller coasters faster than others, and some took their time, some rushed. It was, it was fun. Okay, So here's the building of the roller coasters where they had to construct it, all made of cardstock and and tape, a lot of tape. And just, as you can see, here they are working together, trying to solve the problem, these boys. And they did a really great job. They did a lot of creative designs and modifications as they began to build it. And here is one that looks it's finished. It's finished. He's still working on some final details of it. And okay, so I went through that really, really fast, but does anybody have any questions or?
Somebody just asked, what state do you teach in?
I teach in South Carolina.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your flipped classroom?
Sure. This year, I started flipping my classroom, and so I do the lectures at home through screencasts, and in class we do more projects and more activities, and so I'm not always, in front of the classroom lecturing. I'm more working one-on-one on small groups. And really, to tell you the truth, when I began researching the flipped classroom last year, I found LiveBinder and I thought, what a great tool, to use. And I have to say that this year, I focused more on Edmodo because I needed a platform from where to build my flipped classroom. And now that I've got it under control, I'm going to start using LiveBinder and start embedding those into my Edmodo page. And so, and with the flip, I can use the LiveBinder as a place where I can house screencasts. I can turn a LiveBinder more into a web quest, where each tab can be a task, and that the children can go there. And so there's a lot of things to think about when it comes to using various tech resources in a flipped classroom. But I find that it's fantastic. We just finished a project in science, and it was a web quest, but I didn't have to lecture the content. It was screencast. It was working one-on-one and discussing, and it's just fantastic.
Wow. So there was another question in the chat. Was your project successful with your special needs students?
Well, I teach at a school for the gifted, so my special needs students are more twice exceptional than they are academically challenged. Like maybe some Asperger's or autistics, but I didn't have those types of students last year that I had to work with. This year I do, and I'm really interested in how this project is going to work for my students who are more, twice exceptional, gifted and a learning and a disability.
Well, those pictures were so much fun. It looked like the students were just so engaged.
Oh, yeah, they were. My room was a mess for like 6 weeks. Just everywhere, things everywhere. So, yeah, they really loved it. And, when they got ready to showcase it, they were so excited. And then the upcoming 4th graders, which are now my 5th grade students, were like, I can't wait to get to 5th grade to build the roller coaster. And this year, there was a possibility that it wasn't going to happen. And then things kind of changed that were out of my control, and so we had to switch back to the paper roller coasters, and the kids were like, yay! I came to 5th grade!
So another question in the chat window, do you or your students blog about what you've been doing?
I blog about my flipped classroom, but my students communicate with me or their thoughts and things through Edmodo. But I do a personal blog with my flipped classroom.
Well, we'll have to get that blog address and put it in the chat window.
Yeah, I'll just type. You may type it in there.
Yeah, that would be great.
Hey, I have a question because I've been kind of help and facilitate several webinars this week on flipped classrooms. When you're talking about your videos, Jill, what kind of length do you like to keep them at?
I usually do my best to keep them to like about 10 minutes, no longer than 10. Sometimes they go 11 or 12. And recently, Promethean software, they just updated their software where you can embed. So I experimented with my a screencast last week where I was teaching them about probabilities and integers. And what I did was I found that Khan had a very good screencast on integers, and so I started my screencast on Promethean, and then I embedded his video into my Promethean flip chart. So when I got to his video, I clicked on it, and the kids watched that. When it was done, I went on talking and telling them, okay, so for this screencast, when you come back to class tomorrow, I want you to be able to answer these questions for discussion. So I kind of like created a screencast within a screencast. It was kind of fun.
Wow, that's great. So do we have any other questions for either Jill or Letia in the chat window? Or does anybody want to ask a question and take the mic? Oh, what do your parents think of the approach?
Well, I was recently featured in the local newspaper for the flipped classroom last week, and so some of the parents responded to the article on Facebook and on the online newspaper, and they were very positive about it. They really enjoy it. I mean, I've had the majority of my parents really enjoy it. They said that it's really helping their children become more independent. It's pushing them, it's challenging them, and they're really, really liking the infusion of the technology because they really feel that it's really going to prepare them, for the future.
That's excellent. Yeah. As a parent, I would just love that.
Yeah. I was talking to a parent today, and she was like, oh, this is so much better. Because the projects are done in class, and the project that we just finished was they had to build a science game around landforms, and the project was all done in class and not at home.
Yeah, and not by the parents.
Yes, and not by the parents. But the learning was done on a web quest. They had to do all their research and and keep all their notes in their science journal, but then they had to build the game based on their research, and so the game was built in class and not at home. And so the kids, it was their work. But one parent told me today she was thankful because she said, her kid always tells her at the last minute, I need this, I need that.
Yes. Yeah, there was just in the chat window. I hate it when the students bring in projects that you can tell parents did it for them. I remember seeing on Twitter last year teachers saying that their school had decided to stop doing science projects because they hated grading the parents' work.
Yeah, and sometimes that can happen, because the parents don't want their kids to look bad.
Yeah.
But I like I said, the flip classroom allows that flexibility because I no longer spend my time lecturing, and so my class time can be filled with projects and working one-to-one, teaching them to do collaborative learning and discussions. And so far, it's been a great experience. And I think it's just a way to tell you the truth that I think the flip is just the beginning, and that once you step into that door and you start moving in that direction, you'll never go back to lecturing. And not unless I'm forced to.
So Julie wants to know what happens if the students do not do the reading the night before.
Well, because it's such the flipped classroom from how I'm running it is a lot of it is self-paced within a week's content, but the students have the flexibility that if they didn't get it done at night, the night before, then they can come into class and they can do the research there, or they can watch the screencast. It just means that it's going to take them longer to get through the assignments to get the project completed. And so that just means that it just piles up on them. And then they're like frantically, some of them are frantically the night before trying to get it all done because, but I allow for that flexibility. You know, I don't look at it as like homework and then schoolwork. I look at it as like it's work at school. And if it doesn't get done, then you have to decide how you're going to get it done, whether you're going to spend extra time in class or extra time at home. And, you know, and it's all about teaching that independence, that self-pacing, you know, and how to plan. And so far, it's successful in some areas, unsuccessful in others. And if I was going to redo it, you know, just thinking about next year and how to start it out better. But I think it's a move in the right direction because I had a conversation with some of my students today about how to plan. How could you have not created so much stress for yourself, in getting this project done? What could you have done differently? And, you know, and this allows for that kind of conversation in my classroom.
Wow, that is great. Okay, well, I'm just trying to see if there's any more questions. We'd like to actually, if we have time, to quickly show you the new LiveBinders interface. That's going to be going live this weekend, we hope, if all goes well. So if I don't see any more questions here,
I'll keep looking for you, Barbara, if you're wanting to go ahead and jump in on the new look. Now, I will let you folks know that you're actually getting a sneak peek of this. Like she said, it's not officially live, but please provide in the chat window feedback, ideas, things. I know we've got some comments from when we demonstrated it at TCEA that was very positive about it, but let Tina and Barbara know what your thoughts are of the new look as she walks you through.
Great. So here it is. And as you can see, it's blue. We decided to add a little bit more color and life to the way it looked. But the most important things about this release is we've tried to organize it so that it was easier to find things. And most of the changes for this release are on the shelf. We're going to reorganize the binder a little bit with our next release. So all this is primarily shelf changes. So here you go. Here's the featured binders. And you can see that my dashboard is here on the left. All my binders is here on the left, and my shelves are all here on the left, and they're all open so that you can see at any point in time you can go to one of your shelves and just click on it, and then you're in that shelf. So if I go to my binders here, you also see on the right side we have the LiveBinders categories, and we have the educational searches as well. And these menus all open and close depending upon, so you can leave them open if you want. So if I like to use the educational searches, and this is actually how I found Letia's binders through the STEM search here. It came up right here. So on the left side here, you can also keep these open or closed. I like to have my shelves open all the time because I actually use my shelves to organize everything that I'm using constantly. So this is how I like to have it with everything else closed. So everything on the left is your stuff, and everything on the right is more the general LiveBinders, the Twitter feed here and the Facebook feed, all on the right. Now we've added a couple of other things. We've added, in the past you were able to do just a regular search. If you wanted to search for binders, you can search in the education category. or you can search by author. You can even search within your own binders if you're like me and you have 400 binders. But now we've also added search for shelves. So people were creating public shelves, but you had no way to find them before. So now you can actually find some of the shelves that people have already curated the content for you. So that's one feature that we've added. The other one that I'm not going to show you right now because it's not on this particular version, but it's the ability to link to a certain tab within a binder. So so we've had so many requests for this. It's so nice to get this done. You can actually just send out a URL that will have a link to a given tab. So that's a quick overview. Goodness, we're almost out of time here.
Well, then that'll be an excellent feature because I know that was one thing that came up when we were talking about e-portfolios with as examples in the webinar because of how you may have several things in there, and if you're using that e-portfolio as a job to go with a job application, what you would be able to do then is create an index page and let it jump around.
Yes, that's one of the exciting things about this. You know, someday we'll have an automatic index page created, but in the meantime, with this feature, you can now create that yourself. So that is a quick overview of that. And I think we're just about out of time, so good time to wrap up.
So any other questions, everybody in there, for whether it's for Letia, Jill, Tina, or Barbara in regards to the new design, the new look, the feel? The one thing she didn't talk about that some of you may not be aware of is the fact of there being a new iPad app for the LiveBinders. It's free. Yes, free. And you'll be able to go in and do some stuff there. I know it was pretty well received again when some people down at TCA downloaded and were kind of playing around with it. I know Barbara and all are working on some, additional enhancements to it, but I wish I could use the LiveBinder app on my iPhone. Oh.
Yes.
So keep in mind that app's available for those of you that have an iPad, and again, give it a shot, test it out, and let the ladies know what you think.
Great. We also want to say a special thanks to the Classroom 2.0 folks, and Kim and Lorna and Peggy. Peggy, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
moderating tonight. Yeah, we really appreciate your letting us use your spot, and we really appreciate Letia and Jill, you're taking the time to spend with us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, if there's nothing else, I think what we'll do is go ahead and thank everyone for participating this evening. Make sure you pay attention to the LiveBinders banner, as we will be scheduling our next one pretty soon. So we'll get with the ladies at Classroom 2.0 Live, get it on the calendar, and go back to sharing some more resources after having a couple months off. Now, another thing I will just touch on is don't forget that when you're on the LiveBinders website, all of the archive resources and everything from all of our previous sessions, including this one tonight, will be available for you. What you'll do is you'll just click on the About Binders, and then you'll see a sub-tab that says Webinars. Everybody there? Okay. It got real quiet. I didn't know. So again, the Webinars is a sub-tab under About Binders tab, and you can see everything there, including tonight's resources. So again, thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time, and have a good week.